Lots of new services on campus to save students time and money.
And a colorful event raises awareness of Alzheimer's. I'm Brianna Goins.
And I'm UNC-Pembroke. These stories and more coming up on Carolina News Today.
UNCP students are getting a free ride thanks to a partnership with a local transit company. CNT reporter Jonas Kibrit has the details.
The learning community at UNCP is growing. Students that own a car must obtain a parking permit, and even then, a spot is not guaranteed. For students without transportation, there are no sidewalks outside of campus. Incoming students may not know their way around. UNCP has collaborated with Southeast Area Transit System to establish the Brave Shuttle, a transportation service for students. Brave Shuttle service was launched on August 15, 2016. James Freeman from UNCP's Entrepreneurship Incubator is the program director for the Brave Shuttle seat. Freeman says the idea came from a question he asked in a classroom.
I teach Intro to Entrepreneurship out of the School of Business. And I asked my students what was one of the #1 needs they felt that the university could provide for them. And public transportation was #1 or #2.
The service is funded by the university, but currently is a pilot program, and Freeman tells us over 800 students have registered for the service. The route locations include the Pavilion, Old Main, Walmart, and downtown Pembroke.
UNCP students can now save money for local goods and services with a new preferred vendors program. CNT reporter David Brown tells us all about it.
This summer, the Director of Business Services, Karen Sweeney, implemented a new Braves Preferred Vendors program. Braves Preferred Vendors is a discount program providing UNCP faculty, staff, and students with discounts at businesses around town. The program was started to help improve the relations between campus and local businesses. Brave Card Administrator Tamika Franklin says the vendors program can help students and employees shop wisely. It brings them out to stores they may not otherwise visit.
It allows them to learn of different businesses that offer things that they may not know about, especially if they're new to the community.
Right now, there are 46 businesses providing discounts, including fast food restaurants, barbershops and salons, banking, and even veterinarian services and a skating rink. You are required to show your Braves ID card to receive these discounts. UNCP students have been enjoying the program. OJ Humbert says it has helped him become more cost efficient.
Brave Preferred Vendors have benefited me in a way that I can save money, which I really like because I'm all about saving money. And it's actually really convenient.
Shamika Franklin says the future of the Braves Preferred Vendors is bright.
We will probably be leaning towards a off-campus service for the actual card, sliding the card to deduct Braves dollars or something of that nature. Not in the near future, but to me that's like the peak of the Preferred Vendors program.
You can find the full list of Braves Preferred Vendors on the Braves card page on the UNCP website. For Carolina News Today, I'm David Brown.
One of those preferred vendors is The Depot, a new eatery where you can get a good old-fashioned hot dog. CNT reporter Savannah Thompson went downtown to check it out.
There's a new place in town to get the best hot dog. It's called The Depot. The Depot is located right beside the ABC store. They have a variety of different hot dogs, including 3 combo specials. The Brave Dog is the most popular choice for students. The owner of the depot, Tony Locklear, said there needed to be a good old-fashioned hot dog place in Pembroke.
I know everybody was used to the deep-fried hot dog, so I decided that it was the perfect opportunity to open up one and do the old-fashioned hot dog.
Many students love coming to the depot because they get a variety of different student discounts, including 10% off a hot dog or any combo. There are also different daily specials. Student Malik Worrell started coming to the depot because of word of mouth.
I heard it through a classmate, and I was helping them out, and then I just so happened to feel the need for a hot dog. So I was glad that that friend tagged me along. So
The depot steams their hot dogs to make sure the bun is perfectly fresh. After that, they will put whatever you want on your hot dog, including melted cheese or mustard and ketchup. To top it all off, they wrap the hot dog in their signature depot style. Even I tried the hot dogs at the depot, and they were amazing. Make sure you go to the depot and check them out. For Carolina News Today, I'm Savannah Thompson.
Future UNCP students will save big on tuition, so a lot more students are expected to apply for admission. CNT reporter Sayla Lobin tells us more about the NC Promise Plan.
Leaders of the General Assembly passed a law over the summer that will reduce UNCP tuition to $500 per semester for in-state students beginning fall 2018. This plan also includes Western Carolina University and Elizabeth City State. State leaders say the state will pay the difference of the reduced tuition. With the new tuition plan, about $3,000 will be put back into students' pockets. Financial aid director Janice Goolsby says the tuition drop will definitely benefit students and help them save money.
It's not really going to impact financial aid. What it will do for a lot of local students, though, is it almost kind of like put more money in their pocket, especially if they don't live on campus and have a meal plan. So some of the students locally may fare a little bit better than they really think they will.
Some people disagree with the plan, believing that it could destroy the university's identity and quality of education. However, Chancellor Cummings says this will have a positive impact on UNCP.
Because we believe that what this tuition buy-down plan will result in will be an increase in the number of students who will be applying, in our case, to UNC-Pembroke.
With an increase of admissions, this could also result in expanding areas in the school.
We've spoken with some folks about the need to potentially build new dorms for the future, and it would take about a year to get those dormitories, those apartment complexes built. And so if we see that that's the need, then we'll be able to build those build apartments as we need them.
Chancellor Cummings also says they are preparing for the changes that will take place in the future to make sure students receive the best quality of services and education that they possibly can. For Carolina News Today, I'm Sayla Lobin.
Election season is well underway, and naturally some voters are still undecided. Some are still on the fence about whether to show up to the polls at all. The Office of Civic and Community Engagement wanted to find out why.
UNCP's Office for Community and Civic Engagement held an event this month titled Why Don't People Vote? Representatives from the SGA and other campus departments voiced their opinions on voting and political issues despite a low student turnout. UNCP student Taylor Strickland stressed the importance of voting and students taking action.
Alone on UNCP's campus, we have over 6,000 students, and there have been elections that have been lost or won by less than that number. So if we would all collectively go out and perform our civic duty and give our opinion and cast our vote, we really can make a bigger impact.
Organizers wanted students to understand that there is more to the election than just the presidential race.
Hey, my vote out of 100 million people, why does it really matter? But if you look at more smaller local election-wise, your vote is very important. In a town like Pembroke, in a county like Robeson County, we have the ability as students to change the election and make a huge difference on how local government looks.
The program was a part of the UNCP Votes campaign, pushing students to get to the polls on November 8th. Dalton Hoffert, Associate Director for Student Engagement, explains the reasoning behind the campaign.
To educate students on how to vote, register students to actually vote, and then mobilize students to the polls so they're actually voting on November 8th of this year. So this campaign has a series of events from presidential debate watch parties all the way to registration drives.
For Carolina News Today, I'm Malik Worrell.
A colorful event brought people out on a beautiful day for a long walk to support a good cause. CNT reporter Stefan Lewis was there.
I'm here in Swamp Dog Stadium where they're celebrating an event. What event, you might ask? An event to raise awareness of Alzheimer's. And how would they be doing that? By walking.
the Alzheimer's Association held their 6th annual walk in Fayetteville. The Walk to End Alzheimer's is the world's largest event to raise awareness and funds for Alzheimer's care, support, and research. About 5 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's, and the funds for research are rising. When you participate in the walk, your fundraising dollars help their mission, and your participation in the event helps change the level of Alzheimer's awareness in your community. The Director of Administration for McKee Homes, Julie Russo, show how important this event is to everyone.
Alzheimer's is the 6th leading cause of death in America. It's the only one on the top 10 list without a cure or way to slow it down. That's why it's so important to have events like this to raise awareness and funds to help find a cure.
2016's Miss Wilmington, Victoria Huggins, was the MC for the event. She gave a speech on how important it is to donate, help, and support each other when it comes to knowing people with Alzheimer's. She explained what this event meant to her.
Alzheimer's means so much to me because I've been visiting nursing home since I was 6 years old, and being able to connect with these victims, those who have Alzheimer's disease and their families, really impacted my life, and seeing how music can actually open the door to what Alzheimer's patients are suffering from. They connect memories with the songs that they hear, so it's very important that we advocate for this illness.
After she sang the national anthem, they began to prepare for the walk. She had the people to start at the starting line, and on the count of 3, they started the signature walk. As they raised the U.S. flag and their flowers, they walked around the baseball field, then walked out and around the parking lot, and finally entering the field again, where they rounded home plate and finished at the finishing line. Over 1,000 people showed up, and at the end of the event, they ended up raising over $88,000.
As you can see, the people here are enjoying themselves. There's snacks, water, bouncy house, face paint, free t-shirts. It has it all. For Carolina News Today, I'm Stefan Lewis.
Poetry and jazz lovers gathered at the Storytelling and Arts Center in Laurinburg recently to pay tribute to Langston Hughes. Full disclosure, I was one of the poets chosen to participate. Here's more on that event. Things are in full swing here at the Storytelling and Arts Center in Laurinburg, where locally chosen students are about to get the chance to present their very own poems. Among those students, Hannah Anderson and myself.
We took the stage as the opening performers of the evening with the poems Every Night I Pray and Send a Letter to the Guy Who Wrote the National Anthem. The crowd was welcoming and ready to be taken through the 12 Moods for Jazz by Dr. Ron McCurdy and the quartet. As it was performed many years ago, Langston Hughes' most memorable poems were accompanied by jazz music, starting with the experience of a State Department visitor, cultural exchange, and ending with the popular show fair. I wanted to know what people thought about the performance, and some shared their favorite part with me.
Favorite part of the show is when Dr. Ron encouraged the audience to enjoy the show, but yet invoke thought about the current things that's going on in today's society.
Oh, my favorite part of the show tonight was having a chance to see the audience respond and interact with how we presented Mood 6, which was Horn of Plenty, when we talked about singers like Odetta and that statue on Bedloe's Island, managed by Soul Who Rock. And just to see how people responded to that was probably, but my real favorite point was when you got to do your poetry at the very beginning. That was my favorite part of the show tonight, if you must know the truth.
For Carolina News Today, I'm Brianna Goins.
An award-winning production was brought to campus as part of a sexual assault awareness initiative. Despite copyright issues that prevented filming, Stefan Lewis was able to cover the story.
Are you getting the signals when it comes to sex? Gaining some understanding of these signals could help you out. Award-winning sexual assault prevention program, Sex Signals, has arrived at UNCP.
In Sex Signals, a 2-person team of highly trained educators take the audience on an interactive, relevant, and often hilarious exploration of beliefs, behavior, and gender stereotypes related to dating and sexual interaction. Through several semi-improvisational scenes, the program reaches out to students who have mislabeled harassment as consent. They hope to change behaviors and encourage bystander intervention when they encounter potential violent situations. Housing and Residence Life of UNCP was responsible for scheduling this event at GPAC. The RAs of housing felt it was a subject that needed to be discussed.
I think this event is very beneficial to the campus, being that a lot of sexual activity happens and a lot of people do not know the difference between consent and no consent. especially when it comes down to when alcohol is involved.
As more students arrived to the event, the harder it was to find a seat. The Associate Director of Residence Life, Cynthia Redfern, was telling students to fill up the bottom sections of the auditorium because the upper decks were off limits. Because of this, the event didn't start on time and was half an hour late. They expected a small congregation, but a lot of people showed up. Because of how crowded it was, the RAs had to tell people who arrived late to leave.
The good problem that we had to dismiss some students, but we ended up having 490.
However, once things were settled and the show started, the actors really interacted with the students, asking them questions on what they would do or what they would say in certain situations. Due to copyright, no cameras were allowed to record the show. For Carolina News Today, I am Stefan Lewis.
A broadcasting student at UNCP reflects on the opportunity of a lifetime with CNT sports anchor Deja Dykes.
Over the summer, broadcasting major Bryant Reed interned at the Olympics held in Rio, working for Telemundo, the Spanish language division of NBC Universal. Reed is a junior who's also minoring in Spanish. He says he was searching for something to do over the summer, and he found something too incredible to pass up.
One day, just trying to figure out what to do for the summer, and I was looking up internships. And on one of the things I clicked on, a flyer came up for the NBC Olympics to do an internship. So I just read over it, and it took me to the NBC website, and so I applied, and then maybe a month or so later, I had to do an interview online. And once that was over with, it didn't take too long. I heard around maybe January that I got the internship.
During his time in Rio, Reed was able to meet plenty of gold medal athletes such as NBA forward Draymond Green and NBA guard Paul George, plus many more of the USA men's basketball team. When asked, Reed said that one of the most memorable events was the Brazil versus Germany final in soccer. Reed expressed how he was able to take many things away from this experience that could help him with his career in the future.
I think it'll really help me with professionalism because everybody over at NBC was amazing. They were great. They were all fun, but they also knew how to be serious and to be professional all at the right times. And being and working with the company as big as that, I got to see what it was like to be in a real professional environment and not just doing something maybe just like a summer job.
While Reed had the best time of his life in Rio, he was still there to do a job. Even though he was interning for the Olympics, he said he still had to do the typical intern tasks like getting coffee and running other small errands. But that wasn't all. He found himself taking on bigger jobs in the field, such as making sure they had all the necessary equipment and even going to fetch out athletes for interviews. I asked Reed if he could describe this experience in one word, what would it be?
Indescribable.
In the last couple of days, Reed was playing catch-up after missing 2 weeks of school. For Carolina News Today, I'm Deja Dykes.
UNCP's swim team is ready for their big debut.
And a new app should bring UNCP sports fans closer to the action.
CNT Sports with Deja Dykes is up next after this message.
Looking to do something fun but don't think there's anything cool on campus? Get ready for This Week at UNCP. The Department of Music has a series of free concerts this week. That's right, I said free. It's autumn and the smell of pumpkin spice is everywhere, like the sounds of good music on the campus of UNCP. On Tuesday, October 4th, the UNCP Jazz Combo will perform their first concert of the semester in Moore Hall at 5:30. It'll be a swinging time, so make sure you check it out. Also on Tuesday in Moore Hall is a guest artist recital featuring soprano Kelly Kish. Her performance begins at 7:30. Here's an idea. Why not attend both concerts? You'll be glad you did. On Thursday, Sarah Busman will be the featured faculty recital. Miss Busman is a talented flautist and she'll be pulling out all the stops, so swing by Moore Hall at 7:30. There's a couple of events happening this week on campus that aren't concerts but worth checking out. On Friday, September 30th at the UC, there's a fitness walk and poke run, whatever that is. It's a fundraiser and should be a hoot. It starts at 4 o'clock. Swing by and see what's what. Finally, on October 5th, there's an important meeting for anyone involved or interested in Greek life. It's about how to prevent hazing on campus. The meeting begins at 7 in the UC Annex Assembly Room. And that's what's going on this week at UNCP. If you're looking for more events, go to calendar.uncp.edu and check out all the activities happening on campus. Until next time, I'm Joshua Shipman for This Week at UNCP. Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars.
In high school football, the Scotland Fighting Scots remain undefeated, beating Glenn 55-21. The Fighting Scots scored on their first possession of the game when Sergio Gibson handed off the ball to Zamir White. Gibson later fumbles and Glenn recovers the ball, setting up a Bobcats touchdown by quarterback Stephen Brown. They missed the extra point with the Scots still leading 7-6. Gibson once again connects with Zamir White for another Scots touchdown, bumping the score 14-6. After a field goal, putting the Scots up 17-6, White and Zamir team up again for another Scotland touchdown. The Fighting Scots edged the lead to 31-6 after Gibson's pass to Austin Smith. That final score again, 55-21. The UNCP Braves football team found itself back in a familiar territory earlier this week. The Braves checked back into the AFCA Top 25 for the first time since the 2014 preseason. Braves quarterback Patrick O'Brien led the black and gold with 4 touchdown passes as well as running for 2 others to give the Braves a total of 450 yards on offense. UNCP scored the first touchdown on the game when O'Brien connected with Jonathan Allen for a 16-yard pass. Rontonio Stanley ran for 77 yards in a fourth quarter touchdown on 12 carries. BJ Bunn also contributed to the Braves offense with 9 catches for 95 yards and a pair of touchdowns. Senior Elijah Williams turned into a game-best 11 tackles to pace the Braves, who finished with 6 tackles, 2 sacks, and an interception. The Braves secured the victory with a final score 49-35. Coach Richardson praised the offense, leading the way for the Braves.
Fortunately, offense was able to put up enough points, and we were able to outscore them, and that's what good teams do. They find ways to be able to feed off each other. Somebody else carries the load, and you know, I think it did take all 3 phases of the game tonight to be able to come through with that win. So I'm very, very proud of our team right now.
After Patrick O'Brien's electrifying game, he was named Eastern College Athletic Conference Offensive Player of the Week. In the post-game press conference, he talked about being prepared for this game.
All week I've been thinking about it in the back of my mind, like I need to just step up. I'm due for a big game. My teammates, I knew I needed to play good in front of them because I didn't want them to lose confidence in me. So I feel really good. I'm really happy about tonight's performance, the whole offense in general.
The swim team's inaugural season is now underway and they're ready for their first meet.
UNCP women's swimming team's inaugural season is finally here. The Braves have their first meet this weekend on Saturday, October 1st in Columbia, South Carolina. Altogether, they have 8 meets. Coach Blank talks about how she has been preparing for the season for quite some time and is ready to take on the challenge.
It's been rough getting started, very, very busy, but excited about what's going to come up. Just trying to do a tryout. First, you know, getting the season started with another tryout, trying to fill a team, very challenging, very, very challenging, but I'm up for it.
She has been doing research on different strokes and learning how to increase power. Coach Blank said she has been doing a lot of recruiting and looking into other teams to make sure the Braves are successful this season. This team is composed of 1 international student and some girls who tried out for the team. Coach Blank also encourages the girls to establish goals for themselves and set personal records so they can believe in themselves. Coach Blank said her goal is to eventually join a conference. This is a women's only team, but they are planning on having a diving team within 3 years. Team member Alexis Pagan tried out for the team earlier in September and she made it. She is thrilled that she is on the first women's team here at UNCP.
It feels exciting to be a part of history, basically.
Coach Blank is to hold another tryout soon so she can fill her team. The Braves will be very busy in January considering they have 4 meets that month. We wish the team good luck at their first meet and go Braves. For Carolina News Today, I am Savannah Thompson.
The UNCP women's soccer team stretched their winning streak to 5 after a 2-1 overtime win at Georgia College. The Lady Braves trailed by 1 goal at halftime, but they answered back in the second half with a penalty kick by Mackenzie Wright. Amber Watkins kicked the game-winning goal, putting a subsequent shot on the goal off the goalkeeper's fingertips. Division II Player of the Week, Gina Ryan, saved 7 of 8 Bobcats shots on goal. The Lady Braves will wrap up their out-of-state road trip when they play Georgia Southwestern this weekend. The men's soccer team suffered its second straight loss on Wednesday, losing 3-1 against Catawba. The setback closed out a 4-game homestand with this regional tilt. The Indians punched in a pair of first-half goals to gain a comfortable lead before halftime, but fought off a determined Braves rally in the second half to secure the win. The Braves had 11 shots, as well as 4 shots on goal by Ruben Tax. The Black and Gold had their only goal of the game with a direct kick from 20 yards that hit the back of the net in the 5th minute by Jordan Walshaw. The Braves now head to Americus, Georgia to play conference foe Georgia Southwestern. The volleyball team stretched their losing streak to 8, Wednesday night losing 3-1 against Francis Marion. UNCP's backline stayed firm throughout the match, racking up a season high of 73 digs led by Casey Bell. The third set proved to be a crucial swing as the Patriots came back from a 20-15 deficit to take a 22-21 lead over the Black and Gold. Caroline Pridgett led Braves with 9 kills, followed by Ashwell with 8 and Elliott with 7. The Braves gained some momentum, but the Patriots took control over the next 2 sets to secure the win. The Lady Braves head to Georgia next to take on the Bobcats of Georgia College. Brave Nation's got its own app now, meaning students can keep up with all things athletic. I downloaded it and checked it out.
Hashtag Brave Nation is free for download in the Google Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. The app was first launched in April but did not take off until the start of the following semester in August. The app was designed to increase the attendance rate for home sporting events, also to allow students to keep up with scores and other related things. With over 1,000 downloads in the last 2 months, the athletic department is pleased with the outcome. Jack Slavin, the director of fan engagement, gives more details on the app. He says how as long as you have the app open and the location turned on in your settings, that students will be geographically tagged. After you check in the event, you will gain 5 points, and the users that share their points on social media will receive an extra 5 points.
It's more than just going to an event, checking in, leaving. We're trying to get you to stay for the event, check in, get your points, experience the event.
With football and basketball being the highest attended sporting events, this app encourages students to come out and support other teams like soccer and volleyball. By checking in using the app, students will gain points, and once they reach a certain amount of points, it results in prizes. Prizes consist of things like Brave Nation lanyards, t-shirts, and water bottles. Junior Tiana Graham says she has already received prizes from using the app.
When I first downloaded the Brave Nation app, it was at a soccer game, and I received a free t-shirt for the first 100 people who downloaded the game. I also checked in at the soccer game and received points. Recently at the last 2 home football games, I've checked in and received points.
Slavin talked about the success of the Brave Nation app and what exactly the athletic department hopes students can gain from it.
Engage fans with the actual experience of Brave Nation, so give them a reason to go out and stay for an entire volleyball match beyond the first set, or stay for an entire soccer match, watch them upset the number 9 team in the country and things like that.
That's it for sports. Back to you all.
Thanks, Deja, and happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Deja.
We're all out of time. We'll be back next week.
Can you hear it? Can you feel it? It's the Braves beat, and it starts now. All right, Braves fans, here's what's going on this week in UNCP athletics. The women's and men's soccer teams will go down to Georgia Southwestern on October 1st. The women's game begins at 11 in the morning, and the men's game begins at 1 o'clock. They'll return home for a game on October 5th against Francis Marion. The women have a 5 o'clock game, and the men's game begins at 7:30. The volleyball team also has another busy week. On Friday, the Braves travel to Georgia College for a 7 o'clock contest. The road trip continues on Saturday when Augusta hosts a 2 o'clock match. The volleyball team returns home for a 7 o'clock Tuesday game against Lander. The golf team will look to drive for show and putt for dough as they participate in the Myrtle Beach Intercollegiate. As always, tea time is very early, 9 o'clock. Finally, the football team continues the Respect Tour with a trip to Tuskegee. Kickoff is at 2 o'clock. And that's this week's Braves Beat. If you're looking for more info, go to UNCPBraves.com and check out all things Brave. Until next time, I'm Taylor Strickland, and for the Braves Beat, adios.